I'm going to show you a really fabulous, low-calorie, low-fat, flavor-packed recipe. But better than that, I'm going to show you a method. You can take the basic method and translate it to all kinds of different meats and all kinds of different flavors. So we're going to talk about pan sauces. Right now, what I'm going to do is use chicken, and we're going to end up making a raspberry balsamic pan sauce. We're going to just salt, a little pepper on our chicken. And a couple other things that I really like about this particular application is that it is super easy, super quick, and if you pick your ingredients correctly and make sure that they're all flavor packed, you only have a few ingredients. So we're going to put our chicken in with the pretty side down. And what that means is that's the side that we want up when we serve it. All I have in this pan is a little bit of butter. And we're actually going to keep the heat a little bit low. We are going to sear it off, but we do want to finish cooking it here. Now, if for some reason you have really fat chicken breasts and you think that they're getting too done on either side before they're finished cooking in the middle, set your oven to 350 degrees. Make sure you have a pan with an oven-safe handle, and you can slide it in there for about 10 minutes while you're making your sauce at the end. But in this case, we'd really rather just keep it really simple. So we're going to do it on the stovetop. So I am seasoning my second side. And I'm going to let these chicken breasts go. They're on about medium heat, and they're going to go 10 to 12 minutes or so on this side. I'm going to flip them over once. I think I'm going to go file my nails. It smells really, really good. Alright, so our chicken has gone, I guess it went about 12 minutes on the first side. And I've done about 7 minutes on the second side. And one thing I forgot to tell you is I did take a glass cover and I put it over here just to help hold the heat in. We want this to brown off over lower heat so that it cooks all the way through. One thing that I'm going to do right now, give me a second. I forgot to pull it out. I was doing so well getting all my stuff together. See, my mise en place. And you know what that means? It's French for getting your act together. Now, when you're dealing with chicken, this is not a case where you want rare meat. At the same time, you don't want to overcook it. And we're actually looking for a temperature in our chicken of about 155 because we're going to use carryover cooking. And carryover cooking is simply when, tell it to hush. Carryover cooking is simply when you remove it from the pan. The heat inside the meat is going to continue to come up quite a bit, 5 to 10 degrees. We're perfect, 156. So we know that these guys are ready to go. Now, all we're going to do is set them over here on a cutting board. We're going to leave them alone because what I really, really, really wanted to show you is this step. The stuff down here in the bottom of this pan is solid gold. That's called fond, okay? And that's French for the yummy sticky stuff in the bottom of the pan. It really is where you're going to have a fabulous pan sauce. So over here I have about 1/4 cup of onion, maybe a little bit more. And you can use shallot, you can use red onion, you can use garlic, which I'm also adding a clove of minced up garlic. Now, this is where you get a pan sauce. Once you've seared off your protein and you have this lovely fond in the bottom, to develop the pan sauce, all you have to do is this. Add your aromatics, and an aromatic is a strongly flavored, strongly scented ingredient. Onion, garlic, shallot, rosemary, thyme, any of those things. And as you're sauteing these, you want to make sure you're getting all this stuff up off the pan. You want it in your food, not down the sink when you do the dishes, because that's flavor. So you really only have just a second or two. Now, the next step to doing a pan sauce is when you add your liquids. In this case, I'm going to use two. I'm going to use balsamic vinegar, and it's an acid, so it's really going to pull that up off the bottom. I'm also going to add about 3/4 cup of raspberry preserves. It's a fabulous combination. It's sweet and tart from the raspberries. The balsamic vinegar is sweet by itself. They come together with the savory, and I mean, it's really out of this world. So when you're doing a pan sauce, work it at the bottom. Now, can you see how that really just came up off of there? When I added the liquid, the fond completely dissolved. That's great. Now I'm going to turn the heat down to low. Don't breathe your vinegar. Some pretty significant fumes. Now, I'm also adding the raspberry jam. Really don't breathe the vinegar. I'm stirring this together, and I'm going to let this simmer until the jam is completely melted. And then we're going to let it reduce by about half. So we want a really thick, sticky glaze almost. But if you're doing a pan sauce, you can use any combination of flavors that you can think of. You can use chicken broth. You can use a little white wine. You can use red wine. You can use other flavors of vinegar. You can use fruit juices. Something fabulous would be, let's do it. If you did a pork chop with a little white grape juice, or if you did a steak, you can deglaze with a little vinegar and finish it off with a little bit of cream. I've actually got a video where I did something very similar to that. So all I'm doing is going to bring this to the simmer, let it sit. Our chicken breasts are resting so that they keep the juice inside. This is going to work its magic here in a second, and I'll be back to show you how it all goes together.